Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to once again another episode of the SmackDown Summary. We're going to be going over everything that went down last night on Friday Night SmackDown, along with my own fantasy bookings, hot takes, and personal opinions along the way as well. If you like content like this, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Now, I know I took a little bit of a hiatus for making the weekly show reviews, but I had graduation this week. I graduate tomorrow, actually. I had a ton of projects due, and overall, this just kind of had to take a back seat for the time being, but we're back in action here. With that being said, we had a lot go down on last night's episode, so let's get right into it. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and now JC Mateo kicked off the show with a promo announcing Solo for Money in the Bank this year. Solo said that since Roman Reigns failed the bloodline keeping the title within the family, it's now his responsibility to bring the gold back. What was really interesting about this promo was Solo's interactions with Jacob Fatu. Now, instead of introducing Jacob Fatu, the United States champion, first, he introduced the newest member of this faction, that being JC Mateo. He said that it was because of him and JC that the United States title remained in the family. Of course, Jacob Fatu was having none of this. He was pissed off, as always, at Solo Sikoa, especially as Solo was trying to get Jacob to do his signature, "Solo, I love you." Jacob was having none of it, and the two had a little bit of a stare down before starting a fight. Before they could get physical, though, LA Knight's music hit, and he attacked the three from behind, doing a little drive-by on JC Mateo. This would set up a match for later on in the night, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Up next was the first Money in the Bank qualifier match between Chelsea Green, Alexa Bliss, and Michin. This triple threat started off as kind of just the bullying of Chelsea Green. Alexa Bliss and Michin teamed up on her for pretty much the first 5 to 10 minutes of this match. Towards the end of the match, Chelsea would make a little bit of a comeback. She ended up hitting an unprettier on Michin. However, Alexa Bliss would pull her out of the ring, hit her own finisher, and take the win for herself. Next up, Firaxium took on DIY in a fast-paced tag team match. Firaxium would steal another win off of a reversal into a roll-up, keeping themselves undefeated on Friday Night SmackDown, and earning themselves a tag team title opportunity next week. Let me just say, tag team wrestling is alive and well on Friday Night SmackDown, as we've seen for the past couple of months. I'm really excited to have Firaxium here, as I've said in previous weeks, and overall, I still just think that they are a perfect fit here on SmackDown. After the match, DIY would attack Firaxium, however, Motor City Machine Guns came out to make the save. Now, I know I don't usually focus too much on the backstage segments in these videos, however, we had a really interesting one. R-Truth was interviewed by Wade Barrett. This was a little bit of a twist for R-Truth's character. Typically, we assume him to say things that make absolutely no sense at all. We all love R-Truth for that. However, this one was different. He was saying that this John Cena that he helped out at Backlash is not the John Cena that he grew up watching. R-Truth said that he'll do what it takes to bring that John Cena back, even if it means beating him up at Saturday night's main event. Up next, we had a singles match between Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes, a rematch from last week, and one that I thought was kind of the low light of the night overall. The match itself was absolutely spectacular, as it was last week too. However, it was the finish that I didn't really like in this. The Miz would end up getting himself involved and getting Aleister Black DQ'd. I really wanted them to do that 7-game series gimmick again, like they did with Andrade between Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black. However, this Miz involvement is kind of telling me that that's not the route they're going to go. If anything, maybe Carmelo Hayes will turn on the Miz after this, because he didn't seem too happy with the finish to the match. After the bell rang, Carmelo Hayes would hit his own finisher on Aleister Black and kind of pretend he won the match, I guess. One thing that I found interesting, though, is that they seem to be protecting Carmelo Hayes from Aleister Black's finisher, the Black Mass. He hasn't taken it in either of these two matches yet so far. So I don't know, maybe there is hope for our 7-game series. I guess we'll have to see. Next up, we got a promo from Drew McIntyre, who was responding to another backstage vignette that Damian Priest cut on him earlier in the night. In that vignette, Damian Priest challenged Drew McIntyre to a steel cage match at Saturday night's main event, one that I am super excited for. However, there's another aspect to this feud that I'm not excited for, which we'll get to in a minute. Drew was saying that the only thing keeping Damian Priest relevant right now is Drew McIntyre, so that Drew McIntyre vortex that Damian Priest is stuck in right now, or claims to be stuck in, is completely fabricated in his own mind. Drew was saying that Priest is jealous of him, and that Drew is better than Damian at pretty much everything that has to do with being a professional wrestler. This also made the steel cage match official. Now, once again, the thing that I don't like about this match, or this feud, I guess, I was a fan of it back at WrestleMania when it was kind of fresh, newish, but right now, Drew is saying that he's beaten Damian Priest multiple times. They don't really have anything going on right now. The only reason this match exists is because Damian is still pissed that he lost, I guess. I want to see both Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest move on to bigger things. So hopefully this is the final match of their little series that they have going on here. And I really want Drew to win this one. Next up, we got yet another Money in the Bank qualifying match, this time between Rey Fenix, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso. Solo Sikoa would end up taking the win in this one, which is a little bit unexpected to me. I really thought we were going to get Rey Fenix and a whole bunch of luchadors in this year's Money in the Bank ladder match. I wanted to see a Lucha Bros reunion somewhere inside this match, which a little bit of a spoiler for next week's podcast episode. I do have Penta in the Money in the Bank ladder match as well. But I don't know. Oh well, guess it's not going to happen this year. I think this is really good for Solo Sikoa though. You know, he hasn't really had too much going on other than some backstage segments and some tension between him and Jacob Fatu. So really rebuilding him to that tribal chief level that he was earlier on in the year, I think could do nothing but good for Solo. Do I think he'll win the Money in the Bank briefcase? Probably not, but still good that he's in the match, I guess. After the match, LA Knight would attack once again from behind, this time targeting JC Mateo once again and leading right into a match between these two. In this contest, JC Mateo looked really strong in his debut. Just like Jet Li was telling me on the podcast last week, he's a powerhouse, he's athletic. That spinning power slam right into a standing moonsault was crazy. JC would get the W off of a distraction from Solo Sikoa. Now, I didn't expect them to put JC Mateo over on LA Knight. However, I think that this was the right call for him, especially if they want to build up this new version of the Bloodline. Can we even still call it the Bloodline? I'm not too sure. Anyway though, like I said, he looked super strong and I think he's definitely going to be a threat going forward. And finally was the main event, a WWE Women's Championship match between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Let me just say, this was the best possible way that these two could have finished this feud out. We know since the cash-in, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton haven't gone one-on-one for the title, but this match was awesome. It was almost like they didn't skip a beat since back then. Both of them took some brutal bumps, especially Tiffany Stratton when she got pushed off the top ropes, landed awkwardly on the floor. She took that disgusting annihilator. I thought she died. We had some awesome near falls. Tiffany Stratton grabbing the ropes at the last second after the brutal annihilator. Nia Jax kicking out of a prettiest moonsault ever. The first person to kick out of the prettiest moonsault ever. Nia Jax got her head busted open when Tiffany Stratton drop kicked a steel chair into her head. It was crazy. If you didn't watch SmackDown, I definitely recommend going back and watching this match because like Joe Tessitore was saying, this one was a classic. Now we did have a little bit of involvement between Naomi and Jade Cargill coming out. Naomi came out with a steel chair. However, she didn't actually do anything to interrupt the match other than leaving the chair in the ring. Before Naomi could really do anything, Jade's music hit. She came out. They fought in the crowd. I'm really glad that these two didn't get involved in the match, causing a disqualification or anything. Like I said, I wanted to see the Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton feud conclude here, and I'm really glad that it did. Tiffany Stratton did retain her WWE Women's Championship, and overall, I thought that this was a great way to finish both this feud and the show. The question still remains from last week, though. Who is up next for Tiffany Stratton? Do you think it's going to be Naomi? Do you think it's going to be Jade Cargill? I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more weekly wrestling content just like this, and I will see you all in the next video.